President Donald Trump has stated that the current U.S. proposal to end the Russia-Ukraine war is not his final offer, despite growing concerns from Ukraine and its Western allies. On Saturday, leaders from Europe, Canada, and Japan said the draft peace plan contains several important elements, but still required further adjustments. They cited worries over potential changes to Ukraine's borders and the proposed cap on the size of its military. High-level security officials from the United States, Britain, France, Germany, and Ukraine are scheduled to meet on Sunday in Geneva, Switzerland, to continue discussions. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier warned that his country was facing one of the most difficult moments in our history, referring to pressure from Washington to accept a proposal seen as favorable to Moscow. Trump has given Kyiv until the 27th of November to respond to the 28-point plan, while Russia's President Vladimir Putin said the document could serve as a possible foundation for negotiations. Asked whether the proposal represented his final terms for Ukraine, Trump responded, "No, not my final offer," adding that the war needed to end one way or another. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will participate in Sunday's Geneva talks, alongside other Western security officials. The UK will be represented by National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell. At the G20 summit in South Africa, leaders issued a joint statement acknowledging the U.S. draft plan, but emphasizing that additional work was required. They expressed concerns over military restrictions that could leave Ukraine vulnerable to future aggression. The statement also stressed that any changes to borders must not be made through force. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, speaking from Johannesburg, confirmed he had discussed the plan with both Zelensky and Trump. He said it was essential that Ukraine maintain the ability to defend itself under any ceasefire. The U.S. proposal calls for Ukrainian forces to withdraw from parts of the Donetsk region they currently control and for Russia to retain de facto authority over Donetsk, Luhansk, and Crimea. It also suggests freezing the front lines in Kherson and Zaporizhia. The plan further limits Ukraine's armed forces to 600,000 personnel, supported by European fighter jets stationed in Poland. Ukraine would receive unspecified security guarantees, while Russia would gradually be reintegrated into the global economy, including a potential return to the G7. On Friday, Trump warned that without agreement, the fighting would continue. Zelensky responded by saying Ukraine faced a choice between losing dignity or risking the loss of its key ally, while promising to work constructively with the United States. Zelensky announced that Andriy Yermak, head of his presidential office, would lead Ukraine's negotiating team going forward. He emphasized that his representatives understood how to protect Ukraine's national interests and prevent further aggression from Russia. Ukraine remains heavily dependent on advanced U.S. weaponry and intelligence support. Meanwhile, Putin said Russia had received the U.S. plan, but had not yet reviewed it in detail. Although he expressed willingness to show flexibility, he said Russian forces were prepared to continue fighting. Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. And despite heavy losses, Russian troops have been slowly advancing in parts of southeastern Ukraine and